How's it going? Suit and tie-dye here with my next project. Also got you a little away from me this time. I'm working on things. I'm getting there, right? Right here, it's a '08, possibly '07 Dodge Caliber. It's all-wheel drive, which is kind of something they only did the first couple of years. It's kind of a cool feature there. It has a couple of cool other features I'm going to show you as well. I was just looking at the engine here. It needs some control arms, and it needs some shocks, as well as possibly the steering rack and pinion needs to be replaced as well. So overall, it's a bit of a project. I got it for a decent deal, and I'm hoping I can turn it into something even more for me, and work on projects from there. So here it is, and here's my new license plate cover. It's a little off right now, but it it should be good, and hopefully adds a little bit more so you know exactly where you are whenever you're watching me. So yeah, appreciate it. I'm going to show you around the car a little bit here, and then you're going to have to see me fix it. Alright, now as soon as I got the car, I'd opened the hood and I saw that there was a bit of oil here. This is all dusty, so something's going on there, but for the most part things are just kind of dusty and dirty in here, which is a pretty good sign. Believe it or not, I like dusty and dirty because there's no rust. Open the hood of my Ranger and you see a bunch of rust. You used to, at least. So there's some issues right off the bat, cosmetic ones. It's not perfect. These tires are gonna have to be replaced, as well as this windshield. It's kind of tough to see, but there's a crack that goes from one side to the other. This right here needs to be replaced. But the guy who sold it to me had already bought one. He was convinced he had to remove this whole door panel in order to access that, but I was pretty sure these things right here, and when I looked it up, this panel right there, and you just unscrew it, unplug it, put a new one in. So something you can't see, but you can, it smells pretty good in here. Which is always a nice thing. Pretty standard dash setup. It has a tachometer, which you don't always see. The radio works pretty well. The heated seats are always a nice feature, right? Especially in Minnesota, it does get rather cold. Something that caught me off guard is the multiple glove boxes. So you got this one, which would maybe be like your insurance, maybe your sunglasses, that kind of thing. You got this lower one, like this part down here, which is, there's a manual there. It's always nice to have the owner's manual. But this right here is actually, if you see this diagram, when you pull out on this right here, it moves forward and back, and that'll actually channel your air conditioning into that spot specifically and keep your drinks cold. So that's kind of a bizarre feature, but very useful, I suppose. If you want to see something really hilarious, old school phone holder. The pictures of it are almost worth buying the vehicle just to see. They're like, don't hold that stuff in your hand. You can go fast and put it in here. But guess what? It's much narrower than a standard phone these days. And unless there's some kind of stretch feature that I don't know about, then it's not gonna work so great. So otherwise, pretty standard in here. Fairly clean interior. That dog kennel's mine, actually. I borrowed it, and I'm returning it in a very long and roundabout way. Step on out of here. There's rust along it. It's almost hard to tell, but it's definitely rust down there. It looks like it was sprayed so as to hide it a little bit. Let's see, I'll pop it open back here. I think the hatch was a little too high up, but we'll still get it down to show you this. So, pretty good spot in the back. Got to clean it up a little bit, but otherwise it won't be so bad. But an interesting feature you don't see these days is you got the kick down speakers. That's right. How crazy is that? Freaking on a swivel there. So, if folks are trying to party and stuff, they gotta have the speakers kicked down. It's the RT all-wheel drive. Like I said, they only made them all-wheel drive for a couple years. An interesting thing about this car is it shares a lot of parts with the, that's about one of the worst spots cosmetically. Shares a lot of parts with, oh man, I'm drawing a blank now and I look like a fool. Patriot and Commander, I believe they're called. They're two different Jeeps, and they have a lot in common, and especially with the front end at least. So it's kind of strange to me, but pretty cool nonetheless. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get this thing back on the road and in the hands of somebody that, has use for it.